Okay, so for people who don't know who I am, I run an internet exchange in London, and one of the things that we do is we're finding that we're needing to use more and more sort of link aggregated links, and we've been using 10 gig for ages. So I'm going to start off by channeling Jeff Houston with a scary doom graph. It's not come out too clear. I could do with the pointer. Where's the pointer? There we go. So this was based on, is that working? Yeah. So this graph was based on, if I took my traffic, the red curve is a polynomial of my traffic growth through to the end of 2006, based on 12-month traffic growth, which takes me to about 150 gig from where I am today, which is about 85. If I took the last 3 months of last year, so September, October, November, December, I've got 300 gig by the end of this year in one metro. So where's all this traffic coming from? Well, there's a bunch of buzzwords, and we're turning up the edge speeds and things like that. Applications, more people are using stuff. There's a lot of little packets from things like VoIP, Skype, all those kind of things. There's industry consolidation, so there's fewer of you. I mean, we've seen Verizon and MCI and SBC and AT&T and Level 3 and Wiltel and all these people kind of making bigger networks, but there's fewer of you, and therefore fewer people with bigger pipes. So if you think back to Seattle, a chap from Force 10 came up and he said, what do you want? Do you want us to go and, we're an Ethernet shop, we make big giggy and 10 giggy switches. What do you want next? Do you want 40 or 100? The answer seemed to be 100 because we can already do 40 now. We've got OC768, it's kind of expensive. Or we can go cheap, and if we're in the metro and we can get dark fiber, we can go cheap and we can go 4x10 gig E. So out to the vendors there, don't develop 40 gig E. It's a chocolate kettle. We can already do it. Just using existing technology. Do not waste cash and time. We need something better. But can't we just go and build link ag? Well, yeah, okay, but how far does that scale? Do we want to rate limit and transfer cap our users and decide what packets we're going to go and throw on the floor? Well, maybe not, because I thought the internet's idea was to transmit packets as long as they're okay and not chuck them away. Implement QoS, throttle things, well, maybe. But either it doesn't scale, or for your network it may not be an option. You don't have the authority to implement those policies over the traffic traversing your network. Or it's costly and complex, it's hard to manage, it takes up a load of OpEx time. It's a CapEx versus OpEx thing. Do you actually build and spend money on new stuff and build out, or do you go and spend money in OpEx and configuration and not guys? It seems to be easier to over-provide. I mean, that's our experience of running an exchange point. In that we just need to get the traffic from point A to point B across the exchange fabric as quickly as we can. I found this document from there was a deposition by Gary Bakula. I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name, who's the VP in Internet 2. And it was a deposition to Congress regarding telecom regulation. And the thing that Internet 2 found out was we're already doing high bandwidth and enabling all these applications. And we sat there and we thought about QoS, and it's actually easier just to simply provide more bandwidth if it's available. If there's enough bandwidth, there's no congestion, and all your bits arrive. As long as you've got the right technology, it's easier to provide. I think we already know we need something faster than 10 gig and probably 40. We're already building 8 times 10 gig link ag bundles on a single span. I know at least one network that has got a city pair axis in the UK that currently has 80 gig on a city pair axis, and they're reliably predicting it's going to be 3 times that within a 12-month period. There is a challenge out there to be able to do this, and if you're making large link ags, you've got pretty serious challenges of handling things like packet reordering and just the physical capabilities of the box to build link aggregates. Some of them will only link aggregate within a single line card or across certain line cards. There's limitations of the architecture and the platform that stop you growing beyond certain size of link aggregates. And common engineering sense that says that your backbone needs to be faster than what your attach speed is. So if you've got big guys coming to you and buying 10 gig access lines, 10 gig transit pipes, or N by 1 gig transit pipes, your backbone has to be multiples of that. So my kind of conclusion is your vendor needs you, probably. And even if they don't realize it yet, stand up Ted, because I mean he made the point earlier this week that a lot of the time stuff being shipped isn't what we want to buy, and it's stuff that we just end up having to buy because that's all there is. We as the operators need to go out and say to the vendors, this is what we're going to need, this is what we're expecting to be doing in 12 months, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, drive their development process. The problem that we've had is that there's been stagnation in the carrier industry, so that all the vendors have gone off and said, oh, all the money's in enterprise, they're spending money at the moment. And the carrier industry isn't, because some of us have been through Chapter 11 and we've written off our costs and we're not building any more stuff for now and we're not buying a load of stuff. And what's going to happen is that there's a real threat that a technology gap is going to open up. And in 2 years, when we need to go and build really big networks, or even less time than that, we go out there and we go to buy this stuff, and we've got the money now, we've got the investment to do it, all of a sudden, and there's nothing. We can't go and buy stuff. And some vendors are saying the next Ethernet standard, Ethernet's close to my heart, is 5 years out. That's too late. We're done. If it's 5 years out, give up now. Apparently, the IEEE isn't convinced that it needs to start work on the next Ethernet standard yet. Standards processes take about 2 to 3 years. 10 gig and 1 gig took 3 years. Is it only going to happen if we drive it? Right now, I feel the answer is yes. That's it. And I guess, have I got time for a question or not? Any questions if anybody's got them, or comments?
Yeah, 3 minutes, sure.
I did that in 7 minutes. So if anybody's got time for questions or comments, then feel free. Otherwise, I don't know, if people want to try and coordinate beating people up, come and talk to me. Otherwise, go out and stalk your vendors. Okay?
All right.